rape in those settings by staff members.
That's what I've heard.
Not at the facility I was at, but like literally I've met so many, like working in the field, I met so many different people that worked all over, right? And literally there was this one nurse that I met. He was telling me, yeah, he literally witnessed a staff member raping a client right in front of him. And that staff member asked him if he wanted to join in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a minute.
That's a lot.
This
What do they say?
These staff members are raping these disabled people. Is that what you're saying?
Schizophrenic.
Well, yeah, they're mentally disabled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one believes them. Remember, they're schizophrenic. Oh, that's just a delusion.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Mario,
And I'm Peter.
and we're Guys That Listen. On today's episode, we got our friend Brandon Nguyen. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Ooh.
Thank you. So like you said, I'm Brandon Nguyen. And right now, I've been working in the mental health field for 13 years, I think. And I finally got to a point of being a program director, which is pretty awesome.
Can you explain to us what a program director is, specifically in the mental field?
So program director, literally the Rex program. But like program being like setting up how people get better. Right now, I'm working with disabled adults. And it's like, okay, what do we do from here, right? Like when the school system is done with them, right? Like, you know, back in school, you always see the special ed kids, like all grouped together. Basically, what I do is take care of them after they get out of school.
Oh,
Wow.
Basically, you can consider it like college for special needs.
what does that look like exactly?
There's a couple of different programs, but for mine specifically, it's going out into community, right? Like you see, if you ever look around, you see like groups of people with disabilities going out to the mall, the beach, or wherever, right?
Yeah, at the park by my house every like Wednesday and like Thursday.
Exactly that, right? Because the goal is to help them integrate into the community as much as possible, right? And part of that is, you know, the park, the beach, the mall, you know, being able to live as normal of a life as possible for them, right? And what that looks like for each person is different. So, for instance, like people in wheelchairs can't be expected to go upstairs, obviously, right? So it's like, okay, what are your goals? What should his goals be? You know, like how can he live as normal of a life as possible, right? You know, is it school? Maybe not. You know, school's not for everyone, as you know. You know, is it working at Walmart as a greeter? Maybe that's all he's physically able to do. But hey, he can make a living and hopefully take care of himself.
For the people that you're working with, are they grouped up by their disabilities? Like people in wheelchairs go with other people in wheelchairs?
Ideally, yes, but the system isn't perfect at all. Like throughout,
How so?
couple different layers. One being like government agencies, like we're paid through the government agency, right? So like they would recommend, hey, this person, he's not that bad. Like there's ratios for them. Like, okay, one staff member for every 2 clients, 2, 3, or 1-on-1. A lot of times they just want them to be outside the house, so they sell them better than they are.
Oh, wow.
So like, for instance, even today, like I was looking through a referral packet, right? Like they sent like, okay, basically it's like a Tinder profile of this person, right? Like, hey, this is what's great about this person. But
I'd go with disabled passions.
Sorry.
I'm imagining it right now.
It's a real one. It's not. That wasn't a joke.
What's it called?
Disabled passions.
Disabled
Really?
passions.
I never heard of that.
Look it up. Just saying.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn, you dog. You on that?
Not me,
Yeah,
man.
he don't
It's not
discriminate.
me.
Yeah,
Wasn't me. Oh, you discriminate?
I do. Unfortunately, I call them preferences, but you know.
Oh.
Yeah. Slight preferences, like, this is borderline taking advantage of people.
Quick side, I used to go to this barber, and my barber's cool. But there's this other barber who was there, and he was just like, he was crazy. Like, he wasn't crazy, but like, he's the one who told me about it. He'd go on there and like, you know, bang chicks.
Oh,
who
he
were,
would do that.
Yeah, he was like the one telling us about it. Where he was like, you know, go to, because it's like he's got 2 legs, so like he's obviously better than like most people on that dating website, you know. So he would specifically go for like these like hot looking disabled girls, you know,
God.
missing an arm or a leg or both or something, and you know, just it was easy for him.
So what does he tell them? Is he like, I'm just
Look, I
mentally
can walk.
disabled, so you can't tell? You know what I mean?
You know what? I don't know. I don't think you have to be disabled to be on it. I don't know. I've never been on it, so I don't know.
You know what? I could see that. There's actually I've worked with a lot of disabled people that if you didn't know they were disabled, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like they live full out lives. Like I said, like some of
high
them,
functioning.
yes, a lot higher functioning, you know.
I feel like a lot of my friends are retarded and they're for high functioning, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen that, but it's crazy how like being known as like disabled gets a lot of like sympathy from people. You know what I mean? And it's funny because now we talk about like mental disabilities and stuff. It's things that you might not be able to tell, like people who are not physically disabled. I remember one time, I don't know if I told you about this, but you know, Dewey, when he gets drunk, he loves like taking pictures with people. And then we left a Mr. Carmack concert, and he wanted to take a picture with this group of girls. And have you met our friend Dewey?
Yeah, I have.
He's like really loud when he's drunk. He
Yes.
gets like really out there, but he goes up to girls or people in general. He's like, "Oh, picture, take a picture of me." I don't
Yes.
know why he says it like that when he's drunk, but that's how he talks when he's drunk, right?
Yeah.
So he goes up to this group of girls. I forget, it's like 5, 6 girls, and they're all really good looking. And he goes up and he's like, picture, take a picture with me. And they're like, no, sorry, we're not gonna take a picture with you. And I was like, oh God, I gotta be quick on my feet. So I go up there, I'm like, sorry, my friend's autistic. And they're like, oh my God, really? Oh my gosh, take him back and take a picture. So they go back and just take a picture with them, right? And then right then our Uber gets in, and then you see the biggest smile on his face. He's like, oh my God, they took a picture with me. I was like, yeah, it's because I told him that you were autistic. And he was like, what the fuck? I know you're not supposed to do that, but sorry. It's just,
No, that's a real thing. A lot of my autistic like clients, right, participants, they're pretty smart, and they still have hormones and everything. They're still adults.
Yeah.
Even if people treat them like children, but they use that to their advantage. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, the
What?
amount of times I've seen like, like a shorter, you know, autistic kid or teenager or adult, like he knows he's cute. So he goes up and hugs like my staff and rubs his face in their chest.
wow.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing. I mean, some of them, I'm sure.
Yes. No. He knows. He's been caught a lot of times in the restroom doing, you know, masturbating.
Oh, damn.
So it's like he knows. He just
Knows he can
using-
get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like exactly what he said. You can get away with it. Why not?
Yeah, wow. That's
Hot take, but some of the worst people I've met, and I'm so sorry, have been autistic. Like, just like bad people. There's
What
this
do you
one.
mean?
There's this one dude who worked for me at a retail store where we were servicing, and he asked to stay on because you know he wanted to stay on. He's with the previous company, and I'm like, okay, you know he's autistic, everything, whatever. But he like seemed like a good worker. And I talked to the staff. They're like, yeah, we can keep him on here. He started harassing the ladies there, and then he started to like just like really like creep people out. And so I talked to him every time. He deny. And at the same time, he was trying to sue me at the same time too. He had put on like a legal case, and I asked him, "Hey, is this going on?" He's like, "No, I didn't do that." And every single time he lied about it. And then I'm talking to like my insurance company. Like, yeah, they're trying to sue you. He's trying to sue me and the company that we worked with. So there's a a B2B. So there's like a whole other site there.
Yeah.
And he's trying to sue all of us. And the whole time he was like, no, I wouldn't do that, blah, blah. And then years later, like 2-3 years later, like I was looking on, I had a bunch of fraud on my account. Like someone was like charging their cable, all this stuff. And I traced it back and it was him.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Yeah,
man.
he had like taken like 10K from my account and it was all fraud. The bank paid me back because obviously it wasn't mine. But like, I was like, yo, the extent you go to be like a shitty person.
But he also must be very smart to be able to fucking pull
Yes.
that off for that long. Like
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Because you would just, you know, excuse my ignorance, but like you would assume that they're not capable of figuring some shit out like that. You know what I mean? But here it is.
Oh no, like some very, very smart. And the whole point of like, the whole harassing girls things, a lot of them don't get social cues.
Yep.
Also very
And
true.
so like, okay, they can't tell if someone's not interested in them or if they're just being nice. which honestly goes for a lot of guys. But either way,
So men are artistic.
yes.
Wait, you're
general-
autistic.
Opposite.
Oh my
I'm
God,
the
it makes
opposite.
sense.
I'm the opposite,
That's
right?
why.
I'm empathetic. That's the difference.
He's had like 3 almost threesomes, but he couldn't tell. He couldn't read the social cues. And I'm like,
That's
sir,
different, though. That's different.
you're autistic.
I'm not the one where it's like I can't tell that. Like
She was
I'm going in, they
naked.
don't. That's different. He's talking about when they don't
She took
want
off
you.
her pants.
That's completely different, right? Does not count. Does not count.
I don't know, man.
Exactly what an autistic person would say.
Fuck. Now we gotta go home and think if I'm on the spectrum or not.
Yeah, back to what you were saying, right? Like, it's insane how many you think that they're not capable, right? That's the perception, but they're so capable, so much more, and because they know that people see them this way, like, oh, they're not able to do this, they're not able to do that. They have people do stuff for them,
Yeah.
right? They have people like underestimate them on purpose, right? Like, and then you get the reverse side where they don't even want to be associated, right? They're so high functioning that they're like, oh no, I don't want to be associated with those people. They're like discriminatory against other disabled people.
Wow, that's
Like, straight up, I had a guy that he would work with me in the office and he refused to go anywhere with everyone else.
Oh.
It's like, oh no, I don't want to work with those people. They bother me.
Oh.
I was like, wow,
Wow.
dang.
Just hangs out by
And-
himself?
Yeah, well, and then I found someone else exactly like him that also had the same viewpoint. So they hang out together,
That's interesting.
right? And then, well, it was one guy and one girl. And then they started dating afterwards.
Oh,
okay.
wow, damn.
Oh.
That's like that TV show.
Love finds a way?
No, was it Love on a Spectrum or something like that?
Oh, yeah, Love on the Spectrum.
yeah, yeah. They have a show like that.
There's so much media today. I'm
Oh,
like,
there is.
you're telling me about this. You're telling me about, like, was it Disabled Passions?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I've never heard of these things, but that's amazing.
Hey, tell your clients.
I might have to because I'm trying to like get all my staff to be on the same page. Like, hey, they're adults, right? A lot of them see their job as babysitting, and I don't think that's right.
So when you go into a job like this, well, sorry, can you take a second to describe exactly what your title is? You said program director, but of what and exactly what responsibilities and things you're entitled to do?
Okay, so yeah, program director of what this company called ABC, like Adaptive Behavioral Center, right? And what I'm allowed to do, right, is essentially make decisions on how the staff and what the clients do, right, on a day-to-day basis, and try set up like a structure that promotes what I'm going for, right? Like promotes independence. I want independence for all these guys, right? So I'm trying to work with all these volunteer organizations like, hey, my guys, they want to volunteer, you know, they want to go back out in the community. And I'm picking up from after COVID, right? You know, like us everyday people, COVID ended like years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for people in the system, COVID ended like last year or even like a few months ago.
What do you mean by that?
What, like the COVID restrictions on a lot of facilities and a lot of places were still in place.
Oh, wow.
So like the last place I worked at was a locked facility, right? Essentially Arkham Asylum. No, like seriously Arkham Asylum. Like I got people straight from jail. You know, all the homeless people outside that you see talking to themselves like that. They're all a lot of them are schizophrenic, right? And yeah, they end up in jail and then end up at my facility because at jail they realize, oh, they're schizophrenic. Maybe they don't belong here and they belong somewhere where they get more medical help, right?
Yeah.
And psychological, mental health. In that setting, I didn't know the faces of my coworkers until maybe a few months ago because everyone had to wear masks all the time. And I started there in February of last year, I think. And the COVID restrictions are terrible there. So in a locked setting, right? If one person has COVID and they share a room with 2 other people, the whole room is locked down. They can't go outside that room now. They put a plastic wrap over it, and literally the people scoot their food underneath and take it out. And they
Whoa.
have to stay there for like a week
Dang.
That's crazy.
until no one shows COVID in that room. And then if more people show COVID, like they do that the same for everyone. So literally there was a time where every single room was blocked off and no one was allowed to go outside. And they're already in a locked setting, right? So they're not allowed to go outside. The best they have is this cube. Like literally think about like a quad, right? Like back maybe in elementary or middle school, like literally it's shaped like a cube. And there's a basketball court. It's the size of a basketball court. That's all they have for outside time.
Dang.
And so that's their day-to-day life. And if they're lucky or they're well behaved, they go out with like our activities director into the community, go out to get food.
Damn,
And-
I'd go crazy too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, of course they're acting up because there's no other choice. And literally, the only thing we could tell them is like, oh, use your coping skills, do deep breathing, listen to your music, because that's all they had. They weren't allowed to have much of anything else. Like, even internet access is like not a thing, right?
Wait, what? Why? Oh,
Because, well, the fear is that they'll go on Facebook or some other messaging program platform and let people know where they are so that people will come pick them up like on a walk or something, right? Like come scoop them up and help them escape or something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, a lot of them were affiliated with a lot of druggies. Like some of them, most of them developed schizophrenia from meth.
Oh wow.
They were meth addicts.
Yep.
And so they were connected to a lot of different drug dealers. Like, I would talk to them about their lives and like, yeah, how would you get meth? How would you afford it? Oh, the girls would offer their bodies for meth. And the guys would, they never told me what they did. Honestly, I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fine.
That's crazy.
No, it literally is. And also like huge trauma, right? Like I had this guy that lost his kid. And from that, he became schizophrenic.
Oh.
Like his baby died, right?
Oh.
And yeah, it was like a couple months old and his baby mama left him, right? And he was doing really well. He was like a football star in the college and it was like full scholarship and everything. And then after that, it just went downhill.
Wow.
Now, man doesn't even shower.
Yeah. That's kind of when you know, right? That's like one of the first
Yeah.
symptoms. Like you don't even care to like clean yourself and shower and
Yes.
stuff.
Have you, you work with these people like directly?
Yeah,
Or
I
have
worked
you-
with every single person directly.
Have you, like when you talk to them, do you see like there's a vacancy in their eyes with the schizophrenic people or any kind of tell? Like,
I think, yeah, because schizophrenics are the hardest ones. A lot to tell, right? A lot of them can pass off as normal for a while.
yeah.
And then after a while, you get to know them a bit more. They say something totally out there, right? That's how you usually know. Or they start talking to someone, right? Depends on how severe, right? When I say talking to someone, I mean like, oh, they're looking out somewhere, no one's there, and they're like, oh, shut up. It's like, and you're like,
Dude.
what?
Do you remember John from our high school?
Which one?
John Hart?
John Hart.
Oh, I
think-
remember John Hart.
I told you?
Darker dude, right?
Yeah, Persian dude.
Yeah.
Persian
You
dude.
might have known his brother, Sean Hart.
I think so.
So
I remember the
he, I know he got into drugs after. He was super smart. He went
Yeah.
to UCLA and everything too. Known him since I was like 12 or 13. He smoked a lot of weed in high school and stuff. Went to college, did some drugs and stuff. After college, he came back and he was like, people would be telling me stories like he's acting kind of weird. Like he's just saying stuff that's completely out of pocket, like weird stuff. Like they're like, Hillary Clinton is like monitoring my stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Chris Brown fucked my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Just like really like strange things. And it started getting like more and more people start talking to him, and like I just hear about it. And then I accidentally ran into him once and he seemed normal for like the first like 10 seconds. And then just something in the eyes where I've only seen that twice where it's like looking into those eyes, I'm like, that is not the same human being that I used to know. That person is lost, you know, and there's something else in there that's not who I used to know. And he was just saying some like really strange stuff. And then I want to say that was like 3-4 years ago. I ran into him last month or two, and he had made it back.
He made it back.
He made it back. He's on medication and stuff. For the most part, I think he's made it back. Like, I don't know if it's 100%, but we had like a real conversation. Like, he's like, hey man, like, he's like, he said sorry. Like, I was going through shit and stuff. He's like, yeah, dude, like I had schizophrenia. He's on medication now. Like, he's trying to like do his best to like, you know, stay on that and like live a normal life.
Yeah. No, honestly, it's great that he was able to find like the right mix. You're not always so lucky, right?
Oh, it's made him fat and he's like losing hair, but
Oh
like,
yeah,
at
yeah,
least-
yeah. There's all those side effects.
Yeah.
There's especially the fat part. Like it basically retains a lot of your
Yeah,
fat.
that's what he told me.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him at the gym, so at least he's trying, you know?
Yes. It's extremely difficult. Like honestly, a lot of the people I worked with, they gain so much weight. It's ridiculous. Like you see a picture of them when they first came in and then them now and you're like, oh shoot. Did you eat the other person?
Oh, wow.
That is that bad, honestly. A lot of people are lucky to get to that point, actually. I met, funny enough, barcode, a few people that they had schizophrenia that they made it out of the system, right? Or the system really helped them, you know? And that's only if you're lucky to get to the right places. Not all places are the right place, if that makes sense. It's like, on paper, it sounds good, right? Like a lot of these places, the court orders them, hey, you have to get this person to this place, right? You have to get them to this like level of freedom, right? But a lot of those places, they don't care.
They don't give a fuck.
They just care about the money.
Yep.
Straight up. They don't care. I had a couple of different clients. They hit me up afterwards, right? They called the facility and they're like, yeah, I ran away from there. Because they told me, and I was like, well, you, for better lack of words, like you dumb, you know, motherfucker. And their reasoning was solid though. I was like, okay, that makes sense, you know. But they're back out in the streets, and it's like, oh, how are they gonna repeat the process? Because, okay, so I know we're jumping from different like diseases, from schizophrenia, from autism, schizophrenia, the system fucks them over so much.
Really?
Like so how it usually starts, right, from being homeless is they go to hospital or jail. Those are two options. From there, they get conserved, like, you know, Britney Spears, right? Where someone decides where you live and what to do with your money, right?
What to do with your money?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that was a huge issue with Britney Spears.
I just thought it was because she had money. I know it was like to anyone.
Yeah, it's to anyone, right? You can even like, let's say Mario wants to be your conservator.
Oh,
Like that could
Already
happen
am.
if, you know, you consent to it. I had a guy that consented to his mom being his conservator. Nothing was wrong with him other than, you know, he used too many drugs. But yeah, from there, he regretted it because he was kept there for years. This man celebrated his 21st birthday in a locked facility.
Oh.
He stayed there for 3 years, and because his mom wouldn't let him out.
that's fucking.
And there's nothing we can do about it. The only person that can do anything about it, that was the judge, right? But a lot of these people, they have like public defenders, and the public defenders, like, they literally skim over them super quick, right? Because they have so many people, you know, like their caseload easily every day. I see one guy, because I had to go to court every day for these people,
Oh.
because they have the right to contest their conservatorship once a year. So yeah, once a year to decide, hey, am I going to stay here longer if my conservator wants me to? Or do I just stay here for my own good and let them take care of everything, right? Because some people just want everything to be taken care of for them, right? You know, no responsibility. You don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about if you're going to have a place to sleep, right? Someone else worries about that for you.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, for the most part. Unless you're like normal and you want to do something with your life, you want to have a family, right? You know, even that's controlled.
Dang.
Like I had someone that had a baby, right, from the place before, and immediately when she gave birth, they give it up the baby to adoption. She didn't have the right
Immediately?
yeah, she didn't have the right to decide because she couldn't take care of herself, obviously.
What
So
about her conservative, like the person who's like taking care of her?
yeah, she had a public conservator.
Oh.
So there's public conservators. There's private and public.
So society determines that you're not well enough to take care of yourself?
Yes.
Oh. That
Society,
makes
the
sense.
judge, the court system says you're not well enough to take care of yourself.
You need a public conservative.
I don't need anyone.
So from there, right, instant came out of the womb, give it up to adoption,
Yeah.
to the orphanage instantly.
That's crazy. I mean, she got pregnant and that happens. What happens if she gets better? Does she now have a choice to get the baby back?
That's gonna be extremely difficult because you gotta have to go through the orphanage system to find your baby, and that takes a lot. And who's to say if your baby even wants to go back with you, right? If it's been several years, they never known another mom than their adopted mom.
Yeah, I
If they
mean,
got adopted.
I feel like that's like a whole nother discussion, right? Because I don't know, maybe I don't know too many people who are adopted, so I can't really say from experience of the people that I know. But like if you look at movies and stuff like that, and it's always like these adopted kids always want to find out who their real parents are, right? That's what it seems like. At least you're curious, like you want to know.
I think it
Right.
depends on the person. Like I have a friend, not entirely the same situation, but he found out in high school that his dad, that he thought was his dad his whole life, is not his real dad.
Wait, who?
Well, I can't tell you.
Leave it out.
Confidentiality. But when asked if he wants to meet his dad, he instantly said no. He's like, I don't. That's not my dad. You know, this person that raised me is my dad. You know, like this is the person I love. I don't care about a guy that left me. And that's very fair. And I honestly could see both ways. Like I met a few adopted like participants, and they're like, oh, I asked them like, do you want to know your real parents? Like, no. I'm like, okay.
I dated a girl who was adopted a long time ago, but she knew who her parents were because her parents had a bunch of kids, and then they had a friend, and the friend hadn't had kids, so they gave her to the friend to raise. But she still has a bunch of siblings with the other family, but she got raised by somebody else.
Is it a Catholic family or Christian?
I don't remember.
Usually they have huge families. You don't believe in birth control.
I mean, you guys wouldn't want to figure out who your parents were if you were adopted?
I would.
No. I feel like the term ignorance is bliss, I've definitely learned, is very, very true. It's like, why cause yourself heartache and pain unnecessarily?
Because I want to know.
Yeah.
I need that knowledge.
I feel like most of the time when people do that, when they risk because it's not guaranteed heartache and pain, right? It's because you hope that the return is more beneficial than the heartache and pain that you might receive, right? So, like, especially with the way you explained it, some people don't even have a choice to raise their kids.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily they left them.
Yeah.
It's just, the system kind of...
Well, that's true, right? Like finding out like, hey, why did you, what was your circumstance, and try to come to understanding, and I think that's the basics of being human, right? Like we're social creatures and we try to understand other people, because even for normal people, understanding other people is hard, right? It's like, any relationship, regardless of like romantic or just friendship, right? Figuring out what the other person is thinking or like wanting, right? Because everybody wants something. Is trying to figure out what that person wants, why they're doing something, is the basis of it. Especially like, and I'm gonna tie this back into like autism, like people that can't talk, that's the whole basis of it. Like them acting out, like screaming in the middle of the hallway or a store, right? Or like punching someone. Like they don't know how else to express themselves, how else to be understood. Think about like living in a world where no one understands you. How horrific that might be, right? Like and trying to and living with like, a disability, like a mental disability, and just like, oh, I'm I don't understand why people don't like me, right? How much is it like? Am I just a terrible person? You know, um, it, they have emotions. They can understand how they feel. Feelings are very primal, right? Like regardless of your mental capacity, you still are able to feel. You know, even like I also worked with Alzheimer's, right? And one of the last things to go, like I've worked with Alzheimer's patients that have died, right? After, and I slowly seen them progressively get worse, right? They forget my name, but they remember how I make them feel, and like working in the mental health field sucks in this manner that when your family members have mental illnesses and you recognize that, there's very little you can do to help because it's unethical. It's like a doctor treating their own kid, right? You're not allowed to do that because there's too much emotion involved. Same thing with mental health. Like you might recognize your siblings have depression, but there's nothing you can do because you're biased, right? Or you might recognize that you're personally, like my grandpa has Alzheimer's now, and I went off to college in the Bay Area, went down to San Diego, and I visited a little bit from time to time for holidays, right? And then, I recognized, okay, yeah, he's getting some dementia. And then when I came back, he was like a different man. And it was only like about 2.5 years, somewhere around there. But it was very obvious when I talked to him too, that his memory was going. He couldn't remember anything within the past couple of years, but he was able to remember like stuff from when he was a kid, and then I definitely saw the progress over the years. We actually had a live obituary for him.
A live obituary?
Yeah,
He's still alive.
yeah, he's still
But you're saying
alive.
goodbye while he remembers.
Yes, sort of, because he doesn't remember.
Oh,
But he understood how everyone felt, like literally the whole entire family. And there's like 25 cousins, and then my 20 aunts and uncles. Like we all took turns, like this camping trip, and just sharing our memories of him. And it was honestly one of the hardest things I had to do in my life. Was admit to everyone, like my grandpa, which I always thought was extremely strong, right? I literally told everyone, like, to me he was always like Superman. The crazy amount of things he did. I remember, like, I think a nail went through his eye and refused to go to the hospital. He was like, God got my back.
God damn.
Literally, he did.
Christ.
He was fine. He's falling off ladders and stuff. And, he fixed all the cars. He was a super handyman, right? And he was like, oh, God's got my back. And I don't have anything to worry about. I was like, yeah, that's why I thought he was Superman, From that to his state now where he's not able to recognize anyone. He just smiles at people, and he just like I said, the last things that go is how, they make you feel, right? That's the last memory, right? And so when he sees someone that he knows that makes him feel good, he smiles, but he can't remember their name.
He doesn't know why.
Yeah, he doesn't know why. And, I tried to talk to him in simple answers, and I was like, oh. I knew that it's just going to get progressively worse, right? So, like I was telling you earlier, Peter, like, this weekend's my grandpa's birthday, right? I'm, like, pretty sure he has either one more birthday or two with his progression. But maybe this might be the last one. So I have to go to this one.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Like you going through it now yourself, and I'm sure this is something you have to talk to families who also go through something similar, right? Families with members of Alzheimer and dementia and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure you prep them, right? Are you using any of the methods that you tell them to cope with, like for your own situation?
For myself, yes, right? For everyone else in my family, like I said, it's not only is it unethical, it's just like it's such a difficult topic.
It is.
You know, it's a topic that is like it's just each person has to deal with it in their own way, and that's the really crappy thing about mental health in general. Is regardless of whatever advice you get, whatever therapist you go to, end of the day, you're the one that has to put in the work. You're the one that, has to deal with it,
Yeah.
right? You have to live with it. And that on the reverse side, that also is sucky because being the person to give the advice, being the person to like, hey, this is something you can do, and seeing how if they take that advice or not, right? Because in reality, you can tell them. It's like saying you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it.
Yeah.
Exact definition of like what I do was like, okay, I can lead these people to do the right things. It's their choice to do it.
What advice would you give someone going through a situation like this right now, where they have a family member who either has Alzheimer's and is at the twilight of their years?
My honest advice, especially going through it now, versus what I said before, right? Like, you can have all the empathy in the world, but until you actually go through it, there's a big difference. I honestly feel like it's best just to still care for that person. Show that person you love them, regardless how much it hurts that they can't remember you, and that, trust me, that hurts a lot of people, right? Especially people that like. They feel like they were the favorites, They feel like, oh, I'm the favorite grandson, I'm the favorite, daughter or whatever, right? And being forgotten, that's heart-wrenching. So the best thing to do is keep helping them feel what they felt, right? And making them as comfortable as possible. I literally, yesterday, I was hanging out with a hospice nurse, and she was telling me her perspective too, right? Because with life, there's the mental health and then there's the physical health. Yeah, so when they're in hospice care, what do you do, right? And it's like just trying to ease their pain. If you really truly love them, help them ease. Even if it's like she was arguing, there was this pharmacist that was a family member of someone, right? That they're definitely dying, and they're arguing, oh, no, you can't give him this morphine. He's going to die quicker. But he's in obvious, horrendous pain, right? Why do you want your loved one to suffer for their last moments, right, on this planet?
Yeah.
It's like before weed was legal, there was that argument like, yeah, I'm about to die. I'm going to smoke as much weed as I can because it hurts. Right?
Yeah.
For a lot of old people, like a lot of the old hippies in California, right? Just like, I don't care. They literally had like a documentary or something I saw, and it was like, oh, yeah, I don't care if I get arrested. I'm going to die. I don't care if I get charged. I'm going to die. So let me freaking die in peace.
I mean, everything that you're dealing with is for sure 100% very heavy, right? You're dealing with people who are disabled physically or mentally, different illnesses, sometimes people with physical. How does that affect your mental? Because for me, being a person that doesn't really work around that, I do have a couple of family members, have dementia, who have gone sick, and even friends too. And it becomes a very touchy subject. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like very similarly, like when you said, until you go through it, it's really hard for you to explain it, right? And for me, that now that I've gone through it, I understand how difficult it is to like even speak about it or to even approach it, And very similar into what you were saying about like mentally disabled people or special ed people, that a lot of people treat them like they're kids, you know what I mean? And I think that, or at least in my like specific situation, it was similar to that, like where we treated people in our families that were sick or not capable of doing things like kind of like children. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me get that for you. Let me do this. Of course, you're doing it, being polite and caring for them. But, I've noticed that to a certain degree, these people who are at one point capable and no longer capable, they still want to try to fend for themselves. Like, show that they're still somewhat capable. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
And not just a burden or not just a hindrance. But how do you navigate that as like a family member or friend?
Well, and I went through that exact same thing, right? Where like everyone did everything for like my grandpa, right? And I did some like, hey, we gotta let him do as much as possible for himself, so that his muscles don't go away, or like, and he's able to retain as much as possible. Because at that point, it's not about how short of time you have; it's how long of time. If that makes sense, it's like to extend the period of time. It's better to help them be as independent as possible, right? It's like, Jerry Maguire, help me, help you, help me, kind of deal. It's like you're not supposed to do it for them, right? You help them with it, right? It's like, okay, if they can't reach, up anymore, you help guide their hand. Like, okay, so their muscles could still remember that movement, right? Or if they can't walk anymore, or their gait is unsteady, and that's always scary. That's the scariest part, is when they're older, and a single fall could be life threatening.
My grandma's dementia. She fell like a month or two ago. I think she broke like her wrists. I mean, being older, just more fragile.
Yeah,
and even that's very difficult. Like that's the person in my family that I'm talking about. And I have a hard time navigating it because, it's weird. Like it's like hard because you feel one way emotionally, but at the same time you're almost confused. And what I mean by that, it's like, very similar when you talked about, your grandpa, where he makes you, or he remembers the way you make him feel. She could be in pain one moment because she had fallen or whatever, and then she sees you and it's like almost she forgets. And then she's like smiling and you're like, you're confused because you're like, you're just in pain. I'm asking if you're okay, make sure you're all right. But at the same time, it's like, it's not quite there and you don't know how to navigate because it seems like so 180,
Yes. It's like, it's confusing because we expect people from what we know about pain, right? And know about all these different emotions, right? That shouldn't work that way. It's like if you're in physical pain, regardless of how happy you are, you should still be in physical pain. Right? But it's almost like they forget that they're in pain. They forget like, oh yeah, I just fell and it hurts. To just simply navigate that is honestly leave it up to the health professionals at that point, because it's almost like they're not able to tell you how they're actually feeling anymore.
Not capable.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but it's just where they're at.
See, because that's scary. Because then you just told us that in certain situations, like some of these health people, some companies don't give a fuck, right? So it's like you leave it in their hands, and some people don't give a fuck, and then you have like situations where they're just like wasting away, right?
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. So yeah, there's this. I think I know what you're talking about. Like certain situations, like a nursing home. Oh, dude, some nursing homes are really bad. Like, let's put it this way: there's this nursing home in Laguna, somewhere in Laguna, right? Hills, I think, around there. Across the street is a cemetery.
Oh.
So literally, the cemetery planned, or one of them planned this out. It's like, oh,
Smart.
when you're here, you move across the street.
That's just good business.
I mean, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's a business move for sure. But Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Symbolism is nuts.
Yes, it really is. I have friends that work in nursing home, and they tell me at night, right? They're a night nurse. For the most part, they just make sure to drug them up well enough that they are asleep the whole night.
That shit doesn't always work though.
Yeah.
I had appendicitis and I got my appendix removed. And I was in the hospital for I think 3 days. Probably the longest I've been in the hospital, like consecutively. And they had ran out of space. So they put me in the psych ward, like section of the hospital.
Oh no.
Dude, my God, dude. Like
Oh,
some of the
no.
people who like cannot like
Santa Ana?
Yes, some of the people
Oh.
who cannot stay quiet, they don't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember this lady was like, ah, like 24/7.
Yes.
Like she did not sleep, and neither did I because she would not shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I was just like, God damn, dude. Like there's no fucking way for 3 days straight, dude. This shit was fucking crazy.
It literally is like that psych ward was literally like those people end up at that facility. So I always hear. So I was working the morning shift, right, and I talked to
Yeah.
the the knock shift people. They're like, oh yeah, this person was up all night. That's just normal. And I see them up the whole entire day, and I think they sleep like maybe 2 hours
Dang.
in a given day. But they're up because their voices won't let them sleep.
So I have a situation with someone that I know. He's someone that I've met, and some of the people in my circle know, and they've always said that he's kind of strange, you know. And I never noticed that at first. Maybe because he's high functioning, but I'm starting to notice now. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not gonna diagnose him, but like schizophrenic tendencies, you know. And it gets to a point where it makes people feel uncomfortable, and it feels like people write him off, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to be around with him, or like, I don't want to talk to him. He says like weird things, you know, or he does weird things that kind of creep me out. And because I've come to terms with the fact that he might be schizophrenic, I'm a little bit more lenient, right? I allow him to talk to me, even though it might sometimes be nonsense, just for lack of a better word, humor him,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to be like, I'm not gonna hear you out. Because again, what would you say? Like
You're
people,
so nice.
yeah,
You're
I
so
are.
nice.
You know, it's like you were saying, like when people can't communicate, like that's probably one of the worst feelings, right? And he's communicating, but the thoughts are not getting across to the
Yes.
person. And I can't say I understand him still, but you know, I'll give him like a chance to speak. But at the same time, you know, there are certain instances where it is even uncomfortable for me. Where I'm like, damn, dude, like I'm the last one standing. You know, like I'll hang out with you till the very end because everyone's already left.
Yeah.
But you know, at what point do you draw the line? Because you know, I try to tell myself like he needs help, but is it my responsibility to get him help? You know, we're not that close either. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, what do you do in that situation?
So you are right. That's not your responsibility, right? It's not up to, especially at this age of life, right? This stage of life that we're all at. Most of it, unfortunately, falls to the family. Like, I would say, if you want to feel like you did the right thing, like tell his family, hey, he might need help.
But that's the thing, though. Like to me, it seems like so obvious at this point that his family must notice. So, like, why have they not done anything?
So that brings us to a different topic of like Asian.
Oh my God, I knew you were going to
right?
say that. I must be
he's
psychic.
Asian.
Okay, Asians and mental health. Is like, it's almost shameful to admit like your child has mental health issues. Even autism actually is a big thing. Like, it's shameful.
Really?
A lot of like the older generation, right? They feel like, oh, maybe I don't know how to take care of my son well, or you know, he inherited from me, right, or something like that.
Somewhat
like,
a reflection of you.
yes, exactly, and that's hard to come to terms with. You know, in that case, it's just like you do have to draw the line because it's making you feel uncomfortable, right? At the end of the day, it's how you feel about it. You know what I mean? It's like, even though you feel bad, but at the same time, like staying around someone that makes you feel uneasy is not the right move to go forward, right? Because you're just kind of like martyring yourself almost.
So what? Okay, so I've had thoughts in my head, not like schizophrenic thoughts,
Yeah.
but thoughts in my head where I'm like, okay, he's going a little bit too far with this. Maybe I should let him know, like, hey, like, you're making me feel kind of uncomfortable, and maybe just tone it down a little bit, you know? But also, I'm thinking, like, what if he fucking does
That's
something?
when you get shot. Oh.
Ooh.
But anyways, yeah, we talk about that shit a lot. Where it's like, dude, what if something happens? You know what I mean? Because they're not in the most mental, like, mindset. You know what I mean? So at this point, what do you do? Like, you say something that might trigger them. At the same time, you're trying to be empathetic to show like you care, but if what they're saying is not translating to you, what you're saying might not translate to them. You know?
Yes. No, I totally get that. What sounds like is his thoughts are very disorganized.
Yeah.
Extremely so. And that's definitely one of the signs, right? One of the tendencies is like being unable to be coherent to other people, right? Like when you think about it, when they think about it in their heads, they're like, this makes perfect sense. But then when they say it out loud, it makes no sense whatsoever to anyone else but them.
Yeah.
Right? And what do you do in those circumstances, right? Is, yeah, I mean, yeah, avoid triggering them is definitely a thing, right? But at the same time, it's like, try and get a feel for how much can he understand. You know, like sliding in topics, you know, if you feel like your safety is not insured here, honestly, I would make as many excuses as I can to get away.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that has happened to me at my last facility is I had 2 concussions.
You had 2 concussions?
Yes, from like the patient getting really mad at me out of nowhere and then
Shut the fuck up.
out of me. And here's the problem is you're not allowed to fight them back, right?
You don't want to. They got retard strength.
Nah,
dude.
fuck that, you crazy
shit
bitch.
is
I'm
like,
gonna-
yeah, you can't do anything about that, bro.
You have to restrain them.
You have to restrain them.
Yes.
Yeah, with my
Like
fists.
legally, you have to restrain them. You can't be punching or anything like that.
Oh.
Can you slap?
No.
What about the like E Honda like ta ta like that?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
more
There's
like a
like
shove.
there's proper like CPI training, yeah, but there's like different things you do when they put you in like a chokehold or anything like that, etc. But
Wait, so what happened? Like, I mean, you said 2 times, not by the same person, or
same person.
Same person. Holy fuck!
So
How big is? I'm assuming a guy.
yeah, the guy.
How big is this dude?
He's about your height,
Okay,
so not too
so
bad.
pretty tall.
Bigger
Is he
or-
good looking too?
Unfortunately, no.
Bigger or
honestly.
smaller than Peter?
Well, like I said, like the medication make them fatter.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Probably a lot less muscles too.
yeah, but he's
Oh,
on the
that's
bigger side.
calisthenics.
Also, mind you, a lot, like I said, the options for them are very limited there.
Yeah.
One of the options is working out. So some of them do just work out.
damn.
Okay. So
It's like jail.
it really is not supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he literally like started getting really angry at me because he felt like A, I was ignoring him, and B, I wasn't doing what he wanted, which was like one of his delusions was he believed that there's computers in his head, and the only person able to fix it was his doctor. I'm like, okay. He keeps telling me like, oh, you need to find a specialist for me. I'm like, the only person I know that does computers in their head is Elon Musk, right? So I'm like, okay, like I can't contact him. And freaking, I hate the staff member, but this one staff member is like, oh yeah, I know Elon Musk, and he started like, oh, you see, he knows Elon Musk. You can ask him to do it. I'm like, what?
Oh, and it made things worse.
Yes, and then so there was a point where he's like, okay, you're not contacting Elon Musk for me. You're not helping me.
Yeah.
You know, fix the computers in my head. And, you know, he's just getting mad. Like, what am I paying you for? He believed he was paying me $1 million. And I'm like, I wish. Every single time I told him, I wish.
I'll take another punch, another concussion.
It was $1 million. Yes, please go ahead. Right? But, yeah, no. So he thinks I'm stealing money from him, right? He thinks I'm not doing what he's asked, right? So of course he's gonna be mad at me.
Could you tell that he was getting more and more angry or aggressive?
No, it just like one day he just like woke up on the wrong side and he just became super aggressive, or his medication stopped working or something, right? And he just like ran straight for me when he saw me.
And he punched you
Yeah.
in the head, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And you fell.
No, and dude, this guy aims well. He goes straight for the temple
Wow.
Oh.
every single time.
You got a little pivot in his
Wait,
like,
so
hip?
did you see him coming?
Honestly, I thought he was just gonna come and talk to me like usual. But then, like, once he got there, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Wow.
For
And the second time was like he came from behind me.
Oh, damn. He sucker punched you the second time.
Yes,
how long was it between the first and second time?
2 weeks,
Okay.
I think. Like literally, I took a week off, came back, and he was supposed to. Each time one of these things happened, they're supposed to be sent out to the hospital, and they check him out
Yeah.
and bring him back when he's better, right? Yeah, they did that, but he didn't come back better. He came back worse.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But the hospital, like again, system, right? Hospitals, they try and get all these people in the psych wards out as fast as possible. Like literally, I have a friend that was a social worker in a hospital, and her whole job was to get these people to find a place for them to live. Doesn't matter where, as long as they're out of the hospital. So there's more beds,
Yeah.
and they can charge someone else Medicare, right? She actually left a voicemail at my facility, and I was like, "What?" And I called her back. It's like, "Hey, I think I know you." But yeah. So again, safety, right, for your situation.
Wait, hold on. So what happens in that situation? You get concussed 2 times in a week, like 2 attack of Aloha, and then you just go back to work?
Whatever the doctor says, right? So doctor says, "Oh, yeah, you have to stay out for a week." Okay.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. There's no precautions or anything? Like, that guy's still there? Or like,
So yeah.
you don't get paid anything? Like, I'd fucking sue. You have 2 concussions? Come on.
I mean, the guy's already paying you $1 million every time. Might as well.
All right. No, workers' comp barely. Like according to workers' comp, apparently, if from a accident, if I don't miss more, then I think it was like, if I miss less than 3 days, which some of them did say like, "Oh yeah, you can come back in 3 days," right? I don't get paid for those 3 days,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
So even with a concussion from work, and yeah, like, the only thing that was precaution was like, yeah, just stay away from him.
Just
Literally,
stay away
that's
from
it.
him.
Like
This
and
seems not right.
like I said, the system's pretty
The
fucked.
system sounds fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it really, really is. It's so bad that some of these people, honestly, you can expect them to stay there for the rest of their lives. It's worse than jail.
Damn.
Because at least jail, you have a sentence that you can
Yeah.
live out and then come back to the community, right? These places, there's no timeline.
Dang.
And what's worse is like the places I worked at, right, got bought out when I was there by 2 different companies. Okay? So records get lost. So they're crazy, right? So when they say, "Oh, I've been here for 7 years, but records only go back 3," and you're like, "No, you've only been here for 3 years."
Oh.
So no one believes them because
It's like resets, basically.
Because you're crazy.
exactly,
Wow.
right? No one believes them, and that's the next layer, right? It's like when no one believes you, regardless of what you're saying. There's some truth in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I did really, really well back there at that place was detective work. So literally, I would call families, I would call the conservator, I would call like wherever to find more information, and I find out, "Oh yeah, you have been here for 7 years. I'm sorry I didn't believe you." "Oh yeah, you were raped at this place. I'm sorry I didn't believe." Dude, that gets really bad actually.
Really?
Like rape in those settings by staff members.
That's what I've heard.
Not at the
By-
facility I was at, but like literally, I met so many, like working in the field, I met so many different people that worked all over, right? And literally, there was this one nurse that I met. He was telling me, yeah, he literally witnessed a staff member raping a client right in front of him. And that staff member asked him if he wanted to join in.
Oh. Whoa,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
That's a lot.
This
What'd they say?
These staff members are raping these disabled people. Is that what you're saying?
Schizophrenic.
Well, yeah, they're mentally disabled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one believes them. Remember, they're schizophrenic. Oh, that's just a delusion.
But then they're okay. So I'm
And
just
there
trying
is a process to it. So
Yeah.
even if they make, anytime they make allegations, you're supposed to report it. Not every place does. I did report every single time, unless it was like, okay, yeah, you're the girl who cries wolf. And each time we check cameras and stuff, and there's nothing found. So there are cameras everywhere, like in the hallways, but not in the rooms.
No.
So, and there are blind spots to cameras, all right? So there's that too.
Dude.
So it's like, and because there's staff members that they been there so long, they didn't know all this, right? They would like use those hidden spots to like sleep or whatever, or do other things.
So have these people gotten caught?
I can't say I've personally caught anyone.
But like you mentioned that there was a coworker who asked another coworker if they want to join in. So
No, they're not my coworkers.
okay,
So-
they're coworkers to each other.
They're coworkers to each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
So, yeah. That's the thing, right? It's like, do you rat out your friend?
Oh, it's like the.
Do you
like
rat out
policemen.
the guy that has your back? In these settings, the only people that have your back is staff.
It's like the police.
If you have that, right? So, like, the second time we got, the guy came from behind me. There were 3 people for 90 participants. I'm one of the 3 people. Right? Yeah. You know how everyone's complaining about short staff? I definitely felt that.
Yeah.
Think about like taking care of 30 schizophrenics by yourself. Essentially, that was the breakdown, right? So literally, I had this guy in hold, and I called out like, I think it was code green. Is the code for it is for someone hitting you? You need help. And literally, I had other clients calling out for me too. Guy comes by 5 minutes later with his headphones in.
That's
And
crazy.
he's like, he looks, comes over, helps me walk him out. And I'm like, thanks. Because you're not allowed to escort anyone by yourself. We're not police, right? So
Yeah.
you can't restrain them in a hard way and
Yeah.
bring
Tackle them down.
Yeah. You have to have help. So
Does anything happen to them? Does anything happen to him for hitting you, and does anything happen to those staff members who are to do the raping and stuff? Do they get prosecuted or anything? Or
they should in an ideal world, but
Yeah.
I can't tell you from personal experience that
Yeah.
I've known of any. You know?
That's insane. That's so insane because to me, you're mentally ill to do that, right?
Yeah.
So the staff member themselves should be in the fucking.
Yes.
It should be the fucking client.
The closest I got to that is there was this new staff member. He lasted 1 day. And here's why he lasted 1 day. Literally, new girl comes in. She looks normal-ish. Arguably, objectively attractive, right?
The staff member,
No,
the client.
the client.
Okay.
The guy, new kid, in the middle of the quad, right, where there's cameras everywhere, he asked her to dance seductively for him.
that's weird, man.
Yeah. We fired him that day after we found out. Yeah. And the investigation's okay, through the cameras, you can obviously see that she's uncomfortable and she's trying to get away. And he kept going after her. So, yeah,
Dude.
that's the closest he got to that.
That staff member is probably your barber's friend.
Maybe.
I think there's specific types of people who are drawn to positions of power because they know they can use it
You mean
to.
predators?
Yeah.
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 Shit.
Some people when they talk about bad cops, people drawn to positions of power, something like this, where you have such power over helpless people, and there's just those type of people who are. I'm not there. I don't know if it's mentally ill, but there's something wrong with them.
I mean, that's sick.
Psychotic? No. What's the other one?
Sociopath?
Yeah. Thank you. Sociopath.
Yeah. Those are
Yikes.
really scary, actually, because sociopaths, they act like normal people. They're very charming. But when you offered everything you could offer, they can easily just stab you and walk away and not feel anything. That's scary as hell. almost admitted one to the facility, but luckily, my program director at the time over there refused. It's like, oh yeah, we'll give them an honest shot because these facilities are forced to take or look at some of these people, right? And they get pressured by courts, pressured by, the system to like, hey, say yes to this person, right? And she went out there. He's by himself inside, his room. He doesn't share a room with anyone. That's a huge red flag, right? If you're actually okay, you'd be able to share a room with someone. And remember, these settings, these places, they have very limited beds. Like literally, there's some people that are waitlisted for years to go to the next level. So waitlisted from jail, waitlisted from hospitals, to go to a locked facility like the one I worked at. And from there, to go to a semi-locked facility is a waitlist. It's like,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's literally there's not enough beds. Like, oh my gosh, who was that mayor running in LA? But I forget, there was a mayor running in LA that promised, oh yes, to help with the homeless situation. I promised 1,000 more beds or something like that. I was like, and working in the system, like, from where? Magic? Like, where are you gonna find these 1,000 beds? Right? Because all these facilities, right, are private. None of them are nonprofit.
Oh, I thought this was like government.
Except for state hospital. State hospital is the only government one. They're paid by the government.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yes. So they get money from government.
Yep.
But they're a private company, for profit, for the most part, if not every single one of them. Right? So if you ever heard of group homes, same thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a family member who does group homes.
Yep. Pretty profitable, right?
It's very profitable, actually. It's extremely profitable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting into it too.
Yeah, honestly, it's not a bad idea. So yeah, there's a lot of these places, they open up group homes, and they don't have the right people in place.
Yeah.
Meaning like they don't have an actual nurse or doctor because they go by with the bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
And that's how you make the most profit, right? So sometimes, or a lot of times, the people straight from jail or those hospitals, since they can't find, a place for that lock setting, they just skip over all that and go straight to a group home.
Oh.
And then what ends up happening is those people either run away for a group home or they do something that gets them kicked out, and then they go repeat the whole process all over again. Like literally an endless cycle. Like I had one of my clients that has literally escaped from every single facility in LA County. So nowhere would accept her.
Wow.
Except for group homes because they don't know her yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everywhere else, they know her. So they're like, no, not her again. And that's literally the case.
Yeah. I mean, talking about all this, I'm trying to find the positivity in all this, but it seems like it takes a toll, right?
Yeah.
I know I talked to you a little bit about this, and you said that it's really hard for you to be social outside of work because you spend all your time talking to people, listening to people's problems, trying to give them solutions. How is all this taking a toll on you?
Personally, my daily life is crap.
I was about to ask about you.
It's complete crap because, like, when you start dating anyone, right? You try to get to know them. You try to talk to them daily. I don't want to talk to someone daily.
Damn.
It's like, that's just the reality of it right now. It's like, and a lot of people in the mental health field, a lot of them feel the same, because when your whole job revolves around like people's lives and trying to find solutions and trying to offer sympathy and your heart to these people, right?
Burnt.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
You're burnt.
I'm burnt right now just hearing about it.
What heart left do I have
Yeah.
to give to someone new?
Yeah.
I totally feel that.
Yeah.
Have you haven't met any cute schizophrenic girls?
Like, okay, arguably working in the field, right? Like even going through college, what you find, a lot of psych majors are pretty attractive.
Yeah.
Pretty attractive females. But also break down into subcategories of why they went into psychology. They either go because it's easy, because they actually care, or because they're trying to solve their own problems.
Ooh, I've seen
Which
that.
that third one is a majority.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah,
Dude,
yep.
okay, literally in one of my classes, there's this girl that admitted to everyone she has anger management issues.
Oh.
And I'm not gonna lie, when she said that to everyone,
You wanted her
in
to
the
hit
back
you?
of my head, I was like, "Oh, really?" I couldn't tell each time you were screaming at the professor.
Oh.
Yeah, I met this girl a long time ago, and at this time when I had met her, she just became single, I think, and then she gave me, I think she was trying to be a therapist or something like that, but she was telling me about how she's going to therapy because her boyfriend like cheated on her and like treated her like crap and like told her that he wasn't like seeing anyone else, stuff like that, like normal cheating story. And I was like, damn, that sucks, you know? Well, I'm glad you're going to therapy for it and you're training to become a therapist. So I'm like, that's cool. And then eventually she got into a relationship with another guy who was in a relationship and she was the person that he was cheating with.
Ooh.
Did the same thing. And then she was like, I don't understand why you guys are judging me. I'm like, holy fuck, you're doing the exact same shit that you're going to therapy for.
Yeah.
Like you're fucking up someone else's relationship in the same way yours was fucked up. That's pretty meta. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, God damn. But yeah, I hear that a lot. Like I'll hear people talk about, oh yeah, the reason why I got into psychology is because I want to help people because I grew up and someone else helped me out in this
Yeah.
case. And I'm like, oh, it's because like you have your own issues, like similar.
Yeah.
But in a weird way, you kind of almost need to. Because I've also heard similarly, and we talked about this before, where therapists and psychologists who help out people who don't have very similar backgrounds or upbringings, there is not a way for them to relate to their clients. And a lot of times the clients could tell like they're coming from this higher
Yeah.
ground where it's like, oh yeah, I'm educated, so I know how to handle
Yeah.
this, but I have no idea what the fuck you're going through. But by the book, this is what it's telling me.
Yeah.
And the clients could tell. They're like, dude, you don't fucking know shit. You've never been through any fucking hardships. Like you're telling me about all this fucking shit that like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You know, just walk it off. When you have no fucking clue.
There's a difference between sympathy and empathy, right? You can tell when someone's being sympathetic versus empathetic, right? And that's also like a skill that you pick up that you can't learn, right? You can't learn from a book. You learn through like actual hardships, right?
Experience.
Yes, actual experience. And yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like by understanding all these things, you also kind of help yourself as well, right? You build upon that from wherever help else you're getting, you know. So I do see like, yeah, that's what a lot of the people that went to psych did. Is like, oh, the amount of times I met like psych majors, like, oh yeah, I'm going to therapy, countless, you know, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool, and they're like, yeah, I really want to help people, because yeah, they get inspired by whoever's helping them, right? But a lot of that is self-serving. Does that make sense? So what I do find is a lot of people that go into psych don't end up staying in psych. You know, college degree, and then whatever says, oh, requires a bachelor's. Okay, go for that. For a lot of people, and I know I get a lot of backlash for that, but it's true.
Hey, man,
It's like, in reality, psych doesn't make that much money.
Yeah.
You know, and that's been true for years. Like I went to an internship actually at an adult daycare program, right? And literally the first thing that I learned from there, when the guy told me, it was like, you don't do this for money. You have to do this for other reasons other than money. Otherwise, you won't last, right? And I definitely, like over the years, really figured out what he meant. Like there was a time when I lived in San Diego, I was working like 72 hours just to get by
damn.
because I was living in La Jolla.
Expensive.
Yeah, very expensive. I didn't choose La Jolla. It was just the most convenient for my ex at the time. Yeah, but versus, you know, the north, right, where I was in the Bay Area, dude, I was living it up. Actually, you get paid really well. And it's just like a difference in regions. You know, you think California in general is a blue state. It's not. You know, there's that whole entire stretch of the 5 where you see signs, like you guys gone up the 5, right? and you see signs like, oh, bring Trump back, etc. And even technically Orange County is a very red place, right? And it shows in the social services, actually, because the way social services work and how they get money is through taxes. So if those regions don't pay those taxes, they don't get money. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, so they don't get the help and pay.
Yeah.
So I was curious about this. You know how you said that a lot of schizophrenic people develop that through drugs, usually meth?
Mm-hmm.
And also, the system's kind of set to fail the schizophrenics the most. That's another thing you said. I've noticed that when I've traveled abroad, I guess I want to say more specifically in Europe, there is not nearly as many homeless people out there compared to out here. And, the homelessness situation out here has only increased, if anything.
Yes.
I'm wondering why there's such a discrepancy between the two.
So again, like back to money into social programs, right? Like I met a guy from Australia that he has schizophrenia, and now he's making 6 figures.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck am I doing my life?
So he spent 4 months in like a facility like I'm talking about, and they really helped him there get his meds right, and from there they paid for his schooling. He went to school to be like an electrical engineer or something like that.
Yeah.
And right after they help him find a job, and he stayed with that job.
Do you think it has more to do with this, like the way the system is built in like America versus somewhere else?
Yes.
Because also I saw like I forgot what country it was, but I think it was either Denmark or Norway, and it was a prison for murderers.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone there has committed a homicide, right? And you go in, these guys are riding their bikes, they're planting like plants, they're cooking, they're cleaning, they're happy, they're talking to like regular ass people. The interviewer came in, it's like the guy who's like washing dishes, he was like, "So you've killed someone?" He's like, "Yes, I have." And the guy's like, "So you're saying that I shouldn't stand right next to you while that knife is right there?" He's like, "You shouldn't, but I won't do anything." And he's like, "Why is it so different here?" He's like, "Oh, well, you come in here, even though we've all done something that we regret, like the way they structure it is so that we become normalized, or that we can integrate back into like society if we need to after. They actually are setting them up for success."
Yes.
And I keep on hearing from everything that has to do with fucking the American like jail and prison system is that they set you up for failure.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it sounds like very much, even though like, those locked facilities and stuff like that is not prison, it sounds very similar in a lot of ways.
Honestly, because the longer you stay, the more money you get.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't care how long you stay. In reality, like the actual like corporate, they'll say they do their job trying to help people get out, right? But that's not always the case. I actually I fully realized that this man at that locked facility was being abandoned there by his family. Again, Asian, right? Because again, shame. Like I called the family before, and the son. Okay, so the conservator is his brother, right? So his nephew and his sister-in-law knew nothing about this guy, because I couldn't reach the brother. So I tried calling the house phone, and I tried talking to them. It's like, "Oh, who? I don't know who you're talking about. I have an uncle."
Wow.
It was, yeah. And unfortunately, that man actually passed away at the facility. Right, I actually had to witness that. Like
You had to witness it?
Yeah, because he choked on something, he fell and died.
What?
Yeah, like literally.
Like during lunch, or
Yeah, during dinner.
you guys don't like Heimlich them and shit, or
So
Or you
it
can't
was
choke
too
them.
fast.
That's why.
And also remember, short staff.
yeah.
So literally, he goes in, but yeah, you can't harm like them.
Yeah.
But and CPR, we did try CPR and everything, right?
Okay, you did.
Yes, but yeah, nothing worked.
What was he
And
eating?
I don't remember, but honestly, he's known to eat fast, right? And then he ate fast and went back in line to get seconds magically, right?
Fuck.
To try, and then while waiting in line, his face turned blue and he fell.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah. No, I made that 911 call while the nurses, because they are nurses, like they're doing CPR and everything, brought the crash cart and everything. Oh my God. Here's how bad training is too, okay, in those places. I didn't know where the crash cart was. You know who had to tell me? Or we had to, and actually, I asked
What's
everyone.
a crash cart?
Crash cart is basically all the stuff you need to help someone revive. Like the, oh my God, what's that electric thing? I forgot what it's called.
The defibrillators.
Defibrillators, the mask, the whatever is needed, right? All in that cart. The participants had to tell me.
The what?
The participants?
The clients.
The
They had
clients.
to tell me where it was.
It's weird.
Because when they told me to look in the place, I went there, like the staff, and it wasn't there. And it's participants like, no, it's over there. Go, 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 quick. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. When the own staff doesn't know where everything is at, that's kind of wild.
Yeah. But then after that incident, we put a sign. There was no sign. Okay.
So do you want to do this for the rest of your life?
Hmm?
Do you want to do this for the rest of your life?
Yeah, no. Like I said earlier, you don't do this for money.
Yeah. So why do you do it?
Because I feel, and I've said this at every single job, right? And every interview is, I do this because I feel like you need to be where you're most capable, where you're most needed, right? And I feel like in these different positions is where I'm most needed, you know? And honestly, I know I've changed a lot of lives. And weirdly enough, like, right now, like I said, I'm working with autistic people, right? I started off in Garden Grove School District. Now I'm seeing kids that I worked with come to me.
No.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like full circle. And actually, one of them was like the first one I ever worked with.
Oh, wow.
And so right now I'm trying to get him in, and I'm actually working with one of your guys' friends.
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
Swan.
Oh, Swan. Oh,
Yep.
crazy.
Oh, I thought he meant Dewey was a client.
He does work in child care protective services, though.
But yeah, so it's fulfilling that way to see like where they can go, or how, well, you can't change everyone's life,
Yeah.
right? You can't do, like you said, you can't have every horse you bring to water drink the water. But the ones that do and succeed from that, that's amazing. Like I said, like previously, the conservator situation, right? Guy's mom, I actually really worked hard on that one to A, get him out, and B, help him get off conservatorship. He got off in September.
Oh, nice.
So I was able to leave in June because I got the court that day to say, no, he needs to leave by Monday. So because of how the system works, you can only admit people on weekdays. So literally it was Thursday. I got him out on Friday.
Wow.
And then literally that following Sunday, his mom made a complaint about me. And then I got fired.
What?
What?
Yeah. I got fired from that job.
Because the mom filed the complaint.
Yeah.
What was the complaint? You
Um,
helped out my son?
Essentially, she found something, which was when he left, I gave him my Crunchyroll account.
No way.
What?
That's the issue?
Yeah, because it's sharing personal information.
Wow.
Crunchyroll
Yeah.
account. That's probably one of the least personal. Well, I guess anime is pretty personal. to
Well,
some people, but-
it's the email that's an issue.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what got you fired?
Yeah.
And she must have known that would get you fired to say, like,
She
Yeah, no, she does.
Right.
Dude, this lady, straight up, I swear, actually, I know for a fact, has Munchausen by proxy.
Oh.
what's that?
No way.
Yes,
What is
right? I thought it only existed in that damn documentary. But it's when you think your kid has all these diseases and stuff, so you give them medications to have these diseases.
Oh, I've
to
seen
make
a movie
yourself.
like that.
Yes.
Oh,
that
that's the
movie.
one you're talking about?
Yes, exactly.
I know about it from Cleaning Out My Closet by Eminem.
That's how you know about it?
Yeah. He talks about his mom's a victim of Munchausen syndrome. It's the one who's talking about his mom and fuck his mom, you know?
Oh, I just know about from that movie where it's like that girl's like in a wheelchair. She thinks
Yep.
she has all these sicknesses. People see her, they're like, "Oh, she's sick," and then they force her to get medicine, and then she like ran out of the medicine one time, And then she was like, "Oh, I feel fine. Like, how come, like, why don't I need this medicine?" And turns out all the medicine the mom was like giving her was actually keeping her sick.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
that's
It
fucking
was
crazy.
And why I say no, but for sure. Sorry, keep going.
No. When you mentioned that the mom kept him there for like years, I thought that. That's why I thought. I had no idea what it's called, but I was like, maybe she's like that.
Yeah. Like actually, I got it confirmed by like court documents of like.
Oh, you
this,
did?
like like she lost custody of him to foster parents, right? And the court documents like, yeah, she has this. She can't have custody of him. Years later, right? She convinces him, hey, be under conservatorship so I can take care of you. Take care of you.
That's
right?
crazy.
I think the moral of the story here is don't watch anime.
That's what you got out of this. Oh, dude.
But it led to a better place. Now I'm in a lot better position.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like, I think I say this to a lot of people, like, you don't realize how small the world is until you keep living, right? Like, I didn't expect to bump into all these clients I worked with before, right? I was like, oh, wow, coming back here to Orange County. And then also, like, because, Swan, I saw her last name. I don't know her, but I saw the last name, and I was like, instantly, I was like, I only seen that last name once in my life, and you know who I'm talking about.
I know.
And so I asked her like, "Hey, do you know?"
Yeah.
And so that's how we were like, oh, we started talking more, and just like, okay. She actually told me to say hi to you guys. So,
Okay, cool. Nice,
Shout out to
nice.
Swan.
Yeah, shout out to Swan. Francis too.
So-
go
go
ahead. Oh, okay.
What am I thinking?
So you're thinking about. Never mind.
Exactly.
I'll talk about it on camera. But so you were saying that the reason why you're staying in the job is because you should be where you're most capable, right? And excuse me if I'm reading into this too much. One of the reasons why dating is like suffering right now, or your dating life is suffering right now, is because you feel like you're not capable. Because at the time where someone needs you to talk to them, maybe every day or frequently, you don't have the capacity to.
I don't have the capacity or like the emotional energy, right?
Yeah.
It's like it is. I know I do recognize it is unhealthy, right? Like when you give so much to your work, right?
Yeah.
Or you give too much to anything, right? Something has to suffer,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
And I do talk about this with different people. It's like, yeah, I'm really into my work, but I'm also really into like my friends and maintaining that, and also my family. So where it has to give, right? I do recognize my health has declined, and I do recognize like my dating life has declined, because like we were talking earlier, I'm booked for like this whole weekend, right?
Yeah.
This is a very normal thing,
Yeah.
for me at least. It's just like my free time is taken up by my group of friends, because I do appreciate them, right? Like more so because how I said I moved out to the Bay Area and then San Diego. When I came back, I had no friends. I felt like I had no friends, and I felt like a stranger to a lot of people, because during that time away, and also like slightly before that, I was very much so kept away from a lot of my friends. Like some of my friends I thought were like my best friends from like middle school, and they'll stay my best friends forever. They basically ghosted me. Like, how on Instagram you can see when people read your messages? I was like, read. I saw it was like read, and all I said was hi. It was like, hey, you want to get lunch or something, right? No reply. I was like, and that one hurt, because it was like my best friend,
Oh wow.
right? From middle school. I literally was his brother's groomsman.
Oh, wow.
That's how close I was to the family.
Yeah.
I was very, very close to the family, and just like felt like being abandoned. And then I definitely recognized that I abandoned him first.
Oh.
You got too much into your work and
Well, more like into my girlfriend.
girlfriend too.
Oh
Yeah.
damn. That does happen.
So it's almost like I'm doing a 180,
Trying to make up for lost time with.
like whatever friends I have.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think you'll make time for love in your life? within the coming years?
I think so. I think in reality, it's like you're ready when you're ready. You know, you shouldn't force yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's not like I haven't dated around a lot these couple years. It's just like fully realizing that right now is not the best time because I'm so hyper focused in these things. You know, a lot of times all I do is talk about work and with my friends now, because when I have a goal set in mind, I definitely go after it, right? And like going back to the Munchausen by proxy case, I had 3 goals when I first came into that company. It was two of them was to get 2 separate people out. He was one of them. He was actually the last one, and then the other goal was to fix someone's financial situation, which they were being taken advantage of financially by someone else. Anyways, I got him out, and I have told all my coworkers, once I get this man out, I'm gonna leave. I just didn't realize I would get fired.
You want it out, just not that way.
Yeah. It definitely led to a much better place. I'm really happy where I'm at right now. And I think because I just started like in August, right? So once I settle things down, I think then I can actually think about it. But right now I walked into like a mess.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to organize everything.
Hope you find someone who's hot and crazy, but not crazy crazy.
Oh no, I recognize crazy eyes now. Like you said about the eyes thing.
Yeah.
Like in reality, yeah, crazy eyes is a thing. Not
Oh,
just
yeah.
for schizophrenics.
Oh no, I know. I've seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's very identifiable. It's like you look in their eyes, you're like, nope.
Hmm. Oh, I thought you'd be like, "Yep."
Green flag.
That's just you.
Yeah, that's green flags all day for me, baby. Shit. When was the last time you were in like a relationship that you'd say was very serious?
Honestly, like before the pandemic, like right before.
So, but you've been doing this for like 12 years, right? 12 plus years, like working in the mental health.
Yeah.
Like, how did that affect your relationship at that time?
At that time, it was like I said, like that was like San Diego, right, where I was working 72 hours.
Yeah, La Jolla.
So having that energy to maintain was very difficult, but it wasn't hard because like we each had our responsibilities. It was like kind of figured out, but the main reason like I finally realized that it wouldn't work out was it was like I think about maybe 4 or 5 years into a relationship, and it was like, okay, at this point, if we're not gonna get married, then we're just wasting each other's time.
Oh.
And
So that's what it was.
also it was like, yeah, our families, we didn't get along with each other's families, and family is a huge thing for both of us. So
Wow.
it was like, okay, yeah, might not be the best decision.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Any
Like-
specific reason why you guys both didn't get along with each other's families?
Me, I think it's because I was put in a bad light, right? So her brother was my friend, and I actually asked for his permission first.
Damn, that's very polite.
He said we won't last a month.
Oh wow.
It lasted 5 years.
You showed him.
But anyways, because of that, like it was never the same.
Oh.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So he didn't give you blessings. He was literally like dooming you guys when he said like you won't last a month. It was
Yeah.
like do it, but you're not gonna last a month like that.
Yeah, I guess
Oh
so.
shit. Huh.
But and then on the reverse side, it's because my siblings aren't the friendliest of people, and like it's just a very different environment, right?
Oh.
Like my mom's like a tiger mom.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if I need to explain more on that.
Can you explain what a tiger mom is for all the people who don't know?
Tiger mom, essentially, I think I'd rather just give an example for my mom personally. In middle school, I was playing Magic the Gathering with my friends at the
Oh, I
park.
love magic.
My mom, like, I was telling my mom, oh, I'm working on a project, but obviously I'm playing Magic. She comes out I went to MacArthur, right? So, the playground right there, and then, like, oh, there's the street. She comes out from the street, stomps over with keys, and bashes my head with keys, and then grabs my ear and drags me over. And, like, initially she yells she yells my name, right? And all my friends just froze. And after all this happened, watching it happen for the rest of their lives, and I kid you not, even to today, my friends are scared of my mom
That's wild,
that witnessed
man.
that event.
Why are people always hitting you?
Yeah, he suffered his first concussion at like 5, bro.
Damn. That's pretty intense.
Regardless, I love my mom, you know.
Yeah.
And like, granted, I was a troublemaker, so I can't say I didn't deserve it.
What's trouble about playing Magic with your friends?
It's more.
It's like, you better not lose.
No, I was
You
a
just don't come back
troublemaker.
up.
Let's not bring this back up. But speaking of bringing something back up, so something I forgot to talk about over this podcast is the seance.
Oh, yeah.
My aunt is actually schizophrenic. Like, yeah, she's like, you know how you're talking about drawing the line where it's been very difficult for the family, right?
Yeah.
Because she would show up in front of our house, knock on the doors, like asking for like $20 for gas money to get to God knows where she's going, right? And she was homeless for a bit too. But she wasn't always this way. Originally, she was really sweet. She was my favorite aunt. You know, she was the only one to give me birthday presents, and being someone that was born and Christmas presents. And that's a big deal for me during that time because on my dad's side of the family, they always didn't give me Christmas presents because I'm born on New Year's Eve.
Oh.
So they always give me a combo gift.
Yeah. That sucks.
But
Yeah, that's what I would do to them.
Cheap
No.
ass.
because of that, I always make it very, very clear. Like anyone born around holidays, I give like, okay, this is your Christmas gift, or this is your whatever holiday gift, and this is your birthday gift. You know, separate the two.
Yeah.
I know way too many people born on holidays for some odd reason, but yeah. So her boyfriend died, and she was really, really heartbroken. So she wanted to do a séance, right? So all my aunts and uncles on my dad's side and my mom, right, and my dad were there doing the séance with him, and her voice becomes the dead boyfriend's voice. Like straight up out of her mouth, sounded exactly like him. And I don't know what was said, but I know after that, she was just off the rocks. Like completely stopped taking care of herself. Like, you know, the first signs like, okay, yeah, stop showering.
Yeah.
She was really, really pretty, you know? No, she shaved her whole head. And she went off to be a monk-ish thing, became homeless. I pretty sure done drugs, and it's just like all over the place after that event.
Damn.
And it's like she was never the same again. You know, we still love her and try to take care of her, but like unfortunately the family just blames a lot of things on her. Like, oh, she must have stolen this money from, like, she lives with my grandma still, right? And she's like, oh, she must have stolen this jewelry, and then later on we find it somewhere else. But like a lot of people just hate on her and don't want to take care of her because of that shame, right? So
Damn.
yeah, ends up being like my mom is the one that's helping, and this I probably got from my mom actually. Like she's always helping my aunts, uncles, and even when they're not appreciative, she still helps them because she cares. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the patience in me to do that, you know?
This is why I stay away from ghosts. Or
Yeah.
like seance shit. I'm like, nope.
I don't stay away from that shit at all, but I'm just not superstitious.
You're a little stitious.
Yeah, no. I had a friend that claims he was psychic, and sometimes when he talks about some of his ghost experiences, it just makes me like, no.
Really?
He dreamt of this ghost in red shoes all the time
Red
that would
shoes.
come and haunt his house wherever he moved to, and he moved a lot, and it was like he would wake up with like scratches all over him from this ghost.
Ooh, kinky.
Yeah.
Stop it, you turn Mario on.
That goes from a scary movie too.
Is it a scary movie too?
Scary movie too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, it was a scary movie too. I was like, wait a minute. But regardless, it was just like each time we talked about these things, right? I got chills, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's not mess with this, right? That's where my ignorance is bliss comes from.
Yeah.
Got
It's
it.
like I'd rather not know that there are ghosts than to know for sure.
Oh, I'm like the complete opposite. I'm like, show me the money. Like,
You ever seen all those movies that like, oh, they always try and mess with ghosts, and
yeah.
then there's always this lesson of don't mess with them.
That's the Michang people. We don't do that. We don't do that.
I'm sure your situation is very different. But I think Mark could relate to a certain extent. I'm the person that in my group a lot of people go to when they have problems, when they have issues, you know, it could be family, relationships and stuff like that. And, you know, after hearing a lot of people's like situations and problems, I noticed that in my own relationships, I sometimes didn't have the emotional capacity to help my significant other out. And maybe it's not in the way that you're affected by your work, but to me, it was that if my significant other's problems didn't seem as dire or drastic, I would just like write it off. If that makes sense. Like I'd
Yeah,
be like,
that makes perfect sense.
I'd be like, you're unhappy because you have to work 15 hours a week. I'm like, there are people out here who don't have jobs. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I would say stuff like that. And I know that's like a very dick-headed way of thinking, because this person, my significant other, is coming up to me to like, you know, like confide in me that like this is stressing them out. And to me, I was just like, well, fuck, dude, that's some first world problems type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's only after hearing a lot of people's like issues.
Yes.
And yeah, I can't imagine like how you go through things.
Oh no, exactly the same, man. Like,
Oh, really?
Honestly, like, but I had to catch myself, right?
Yeah.
Because that exact same issue did come up before, where I was like, you know, why am I caring for them less? In their eyes, this is the world, right? You know, part of empathy is relating to the person, getting to their level, regardless of what else you've heard before, right? You know, like, I feel really bad about this, but like literally, I've talked to a lot of rape victims before, and I think I forget what, after whatever number one, right? Or I just stopped empathizing, you know, stop caring. Like, okay, you've been raped, just like every like 50 girls I've met before.
Wow.
You know, and I was like, no, that's not right. That's not right at all. You know, or like I had a friend that was cheated on, and I did not empathize her. To her, it was like the end of the world. And I was like, there's literally people taking full advantage of their significant other in so many other ways, you know, that I know about firsthand, you know, and you're complaining about someone cheating on you, just leave them, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, wait. It's like I'm taking that step back, right? It's recognizing your own emotions, being like cognizant of how you're thinking and how you're feeling, so that you don't fall into that trap of apathy. You don't fall into that trap of being a dick, you know? And honestly, that just came with like a lot of practice and just a lot of years like talking to people.
Yeah, you know what's funny? As of recent, I'm trying to be more mindful, right? And I'm starting to catch myself in these certain like thoughts and mindsets where I'm like, why the fuck am I acting like this? Or why am I feeling like this, right? A recent one has been like, well, it's not recent, it's been reoccurring, but like my mom and my stepmom, whenever they talk to me about very like normal everyday things like a caring parent would, for some reason, I get extremely annoyed. It's really fucking weird. Like, oh, did you eat today? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I did. Why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why do you want to know? Like, oh, mate, did you go to the gym? Like, yeah, I did. Like, why? Like, why are you asking? You know what I mean? And while I don't come off like that, I'll just, you know, I'll tell them like, yes. But I know in my head and how I feel, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a little annoyed by like them asking things that a caring parent would ask, you know? And so now I have to remind myself like, hey, they mean no harm. They're actually, you know, trying to be a caring parent towards you. So why are you feeling this feeling of resentment towards them? And it took me a while to kind of like go back to the roots where I was like, oh, you know what? I think the reason why I felt like this is because when I was younger and when my mom was like this, when she was trying to be a caring parent, it was because she had an ulterior motive, you know, when I was a kid. You know, and it stuck with me until now when I'm an adult, and I just never understood that. Because as a kid, my mom had like a gambling problem. And she'd be like, "Oh, you know, I love you, son. Like, did you eat today?" And it was like after she had been gone for 5 days, and she didn't show up. And then when she comes back, it's like, she's like, "Did you eat today? Can you let me borrow $200?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's why you're here." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's stuck with me till now. And I noticed, and that's speaking about my mom, but I'm noticing my stepmom has never done anything like that to me, but I still have that same feeling because I guess I've connected
Yeah.
that scenario with that memory or that feeling from back then. You know, but I also do realize that while I have to be mindful to catch myself, because if I'm not mindful, I let it slip. You know, that if you continuously like push that mindset of like trying to change, it helps, you know, ever so slightly. I recently had another breakthrough with something like that. Was I forgot who I was talking to. It was one of my friends, and he was telling me about like a good story, like a positive story. Like he got a new job or he passed a test, something positive in his life, right? Like a significant milestone. And I don't know why at that point I had felt like, okay, cool. Like I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I knew in my head that I should. While what I felt was like nothing. I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, like indifferent. So I told myself, I was like, okay, this is a good thing for him. You're already in the middle of this conversation, right? Might as well be happy for him.
Yeah.
And I told myself that probably for a good like 30 seconds for a second. Be happy for this person. Be happy for this person. Be happy for this person. And eventually, I actually felt happy for the person. You know, like my conversation or my reaction to him was like, "Oh shit, really?" To like, "Oh shit, really?" Like, damn, that's awesome. And it actually showed. Like, I felt myself like smiling after telling myself that so many times. And I think I don't think necessarily you have to trace everything back to your roots to figure it out or to improve. You could just figure out what you need to do now during the meantime in order to improve the scenario that you're in. You know,
Yeah.
because right now, like, yeah, I don't know why I felt so indifferent about his situation. You know, I don't know why, like, initially I didn't care that much. But, after a while, I was like, okay, this feels nice to, like, be happy for my friend succeeding in whatever it is. Because usually I am. I forget what the exact situation was, why I didn't care. But, eventually, after telling myself, it changed.
Thanks for being happy for me for getting hired at In and Out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're always at the top. Nothing but the best for you.
You're making 6 figures now, man.
It could have been something like that. Actually, no more. But yeah, no, I think it is true. Like your the words that you put in your head actually plays a role in the way you think a lot, and people just tend to think like, oh, this is how I am. That's innately me. Like I just don't care or whatever. But if you dig deep enough, you kind of see where it comes from. Maybe it's not truthfully you, but something from the past that has arisen to where you are right now. So I'm still trying to unravel a lot
Yeah.
of things right now, and it's hard because sometimes it doesn't pop up until I'm in certain things like relationships. Like I was telling you
Yeah.
when it came to like hearing other people's problems, I was like, damn, I don't want to write your problems as like they don't mean anything, but I have to catch myself
Yes.
to be like, hey, no, this, because in the very end, like maybe the problem on paper objectively is not as bad, right? But the way the person perceives it is.
Yes.
And I think that matters more. Because especially if it's someone that you're going to be with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got to care about how they feel, not, exactly if that situation could be worse or not.
No,
That was well said.
that was very well said, actually.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome to Lightning Round, where we ask our guests some rapid fire questions. Brandon, are you ready?
Yes. Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Your favorite book?
Harry Potter.
Biggest regret?
Not asking to go out at church.
Oh, at church. Hmm.
Yeah.
What's your fetish?
Pass.
Can you find it on Crunchyroll? Your go-to drink?
Moscow Mule.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
My weight right now.
All right, my last question is, what's one goal you have for this year that you want to accomplish?
To organize my workplace.
Okay.
What is your biggest fear?
Oh.
Getting a third concussion.
Dying with regrets.
What is one thing that you want to tell your grandpa for him to remember?
Simply that I love him.
What's one thing that you'd want to do again if you could travel back in time?
Ooh, go Europe.
Nice.
Yeah, I did a Europe trip all over. It was very fun.
What is your favorite food?
Okay, horrifically, it's rice with chilo and soy sauce.
That's
Oh,
disgusting.
really?
Literally-
That's it?
no, like literally, I can eat this. It was like my comfort food.
Uh-huh.
So this is literally my comfort food. Like, I love a lot of food, but this is my comfort food that I go back to.
Yeah, add a little spam on it, it'd be fine.
Oh man, it's plain and simple and clean. You know.
What's one thing that you believed in the past that you no longer believe?
Ooh, that I know everything.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, and for my last question, for your significant other, what is one non-negotiable?
My friends and family.
Nice.
All right, guys, that concludes our lightning round. Brandon, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for the stories and the wisdom and the that was wild. Let us know where we can find you.
Honestly, just look around at bars and you'll find me.
You're like, honestly, don't find me.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, dude, thanks for coming on, man, sharing all those stories. I'm never sending my parents to a fucking old person's home or lockout or anything like that. Thanks for sharing all that to me. And for me, one of the biggest things that you opened up about was your grandpa, and I appreciate that because I'm seeing that in my grandma and how fragile life could be, and I want to definitely show them that I love them more. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just not to get off crazy topic, but make sure. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna go back to the. I was like, and thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment below what you guys want us to talk about next episode. And remember, live fast, eat ass.